Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Conix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is the Little Mermaid for the Nintendo Entertainment System, released in 1991, developed by Capcom, and also published by Capcom, and also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. But first, a little backstory. I watched a lot of speedruns of this game back in the day, but I never played it, so that's what I decided to do this week. So as you start up the game, you're told that Ursula, this sea witch squid thing, has cast a spell on the sea creatures to do her will, and Ariel decides to forgo her human form and return to a mermaid. Stage 1, the Sea of Corals. So you start with 2 lives, and you can do this bubble attack with the A button. You control the mermaid Ariel with the D-pad, and it's kind of smooth. You actually just go up and down, vertical, horizontally, however you wish, and you can press the B button to swim faster. So you can encase small fish in bubbles, and with this bubble attack you can use them as projectiles. You can also pick up seashells in order to open up larger chests, which contain, I think they're pearls, like purple and turquoise one. So the purples gives you power, you have like 3 levels of those, and the other one is range, so you have 3 levels of those. So that's good to know. And there was another thing that I didn't know when I started playing this game. You have these small holes in the levels. So if you take a bubbled up fish and put it there, you will get some extra hidden items such as forks and extra hearts and lives and whatnot. And it would have been good to know that when I started playing this game, but you can't know everything from start, right? And yeah, also the bubble up fish can be thrown in any direction which you hold your D-pad, so you can even throw them diagonally. So the first boss is an angered shark, and you bubble up this light green fishes and throw it at him, and that's more or less the whole boss strat. And I also forgot to talk about the extra lives actually looks like small versions of Ariel's, if that makes sense. So at the beginning of the game, Ariel can only take 3 hits before she loses a life. You can upgrade this by picking up extra hearts throughout the stages, but if you lose a life, all your power-ups are gone, so you basically start at 0, and that's kind of annoying. It's a little bit of grindy, but the game is not that difficult. It's just getting used to the controls and whatnot. I had a problem with swimming and throwing things at the same time. I think you actually need to stop in order to do the thing correctly, but that's the only problem I have with the controls, I guess. So I talked a little bit about the collectibles, but you can collect things by putting bubble up fish in small crevices and holes, and things will be revealed. So you can get pipes, forks, and the power orbs and the range orbs. And then a cutscene plays with Scuffle telling Ariel that Ursula is heading for the sunken ship. So the second stage is the sunken ship. So you can push a barrel down a slope to open up a little chest. It was a fun mechanic. I think it has something to do with the power-ups. So if you don't have any power pearls or orbs, you can't really push that barrel down. There are also some stupid ghost enemies. I don't think you can bubble them up, but they're basically sheeted fish ghosts. So the boss of this level, or bosses I should say, are the two electrical eels that Ursula has for pets. So they look out of the holes of the hull of the ship, and you just throw bubble up crabs at them until they give up. So after you defeat the bosses, a cutscene plays where Ursula is frozen over the sea, and the third stage is the Sea of Ice. So there's a mechanic in this level where Ariel can jump on the blocks of ice, and it was actually used in the previous stage also when you needed to push down a shell to open up a chest. So the boss of this level is an orange walrus for some reason. He stands on top of some blocks of ice and he throws down shells or frozen up fish. So you intercept the shells and you throw them back at him a couple of times until he gives up. So after the boss battle, you get another cutscene where Scuffles, the yellow blue striped fish, tells Ariel that something strange is going on underneath the sea volcanoes. And the fourth stage is the undersea volcanoes. So the boss here is a seahorse on a sunken gunship, and I think he also has like a saber or something. He just stands there and they shoot fish at you. You intercept the fish and you throw them back at him. And then there is another cutscene explaining about Ursula's castle, and the fifth stage is, well, you guessed it, Ursula's castle. So this level is about finding the right way. You go through doorways. There are also these annoying big fish enemies that throws out smaller fishes that are hard to avoid. And the boss on this stage is of course Ursula, so you throw back, you bubble up seahorses and you throw them back at her. And then there's yet another cutscene where Ursula becomes more powerful and gigantic, just like the movie, and you battle her by throwing fish at her until she explodes. And I don't know why, they played some exploding sound effects, so I guess she really died in this one. And then there's a cutscene where Ariel's father, Triton, he turns her back into a human again so she can be with Prince Eric, and they live happily ever after, I guess. So gameplay: help Ariel defeat Ursula and save the creatures of the sea and turn her back into a human again. Controls: the D-pad moves Ariel around, the A button makes bubbles, so you can capture smaller fish in them and use them as projectiles. If you hold the B button, Ariel swims faster. The start brings up some status and the power and range and what level you're on. And the A button and the D-pad throws the bubble up enemies in that direction. Graphics. The game is very colorful in the sprites as well. The only grudge I have with this game is that Ariel's hair is purple. And I remember distinctly from the movie that her hair was red, but it's a minor nitpick, I guess. Sound and music. Yasuhiko Fujita made the soundtrack for this game, and I like it. It's very chirpy. It even has the main Under the Sea theme for the title screen, which is a nice little touch. Easter eggs, secrets, and glitches. So at the beginning of this week, I didn't know this, but I learned this much later. So if you take small bubble up fish and put them in crevices or small holes throughout the stage, they will reveal forks and smoking pipes and other power-ups and goodies. So you can actually stock up on lives and health items pretty fast. If I've known this, that would have been perfect, but it's a small little grudge. So another cool thing, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that I watch a lot of speedruns. So I watched this guy called Arcus, and his speedrun, he actually beat this game in 7 minutes and 31 seconds. And that's kind of cool. It took me it took me a very long time just to beat the first couple of stages, actually. So it's kind of cool to see how they perfect their runs, or how he did it. And there has to been he must have played this game so much in order to progress to that kind of level, I guess. In conclusion, I wrote, try it. So I had a hard time getting into the control of this game, especially the mechanic when you are supposed to throw up the bubble up fish at enemies and bosses. But if you can, get behind that kind of mechanic, you can beat the game in like 25 to 30 minutes, which is relatively short for an NES game. So this game takes a lot of trial and error, as I said before. It's NES hard for a good reason. So I think today we're kind of spoiled with all of our save states, and I talked a little bit about it before in the previous Yacc episodes, that I don't like to abuse save state unless it's like absolutely necessary. So I try to play the game as they were intended to be played. So this game doesn't have a pass-forward system as far as I know. If you're game over, you start over right from the beginning. But, just for a fun little trip back to the good old days, play this game with save state. It will be a lot of fun. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.